Okay, to start with, Susie put in some contact lenses and we also styled her hair. And I sprayed her hair with the white, and as her hair is so dark underneath, it kind of looked grey, which I wanted it to anyway. And I'm starting to use kryolan eyebrow wax stick. Kind of brushed the eyebrows down and up and flat, and using a spatula to flatten them some more, and also some spirit gum, and then powder. I then go in with the kryolan grease paint mixed with white and black together to get a grey colour, and I'm using a sponge to press it in all over. It has great coverage. I then set using a powder puff with some translucent setting powder, and I press it really into this base as it's quite thick and it needs to be set really well. And then dusting off any excess. I then start to go over with a textured sponge and some black and white cream paint. I went white first then black, or black then white, and then I kind of blended these in together and pressed them, not too much, as you want to see some kind of texture to it and you don't want them to just end up being one colour. Ideally, if I wasn't doing it just for the video purposes, I would do it a couple of layers of this to get a really random dotted kind of texture, and you also could spray on some kind of effect using some paint. There I went in a little bit too hard with the colour, so I just used my original sponge that I'd laid the first base down and went over it just to tone down some of the excess tone that I didn't want. Just repeat this until you're happy. I didn't do in Susie's ear and behind the ear and all of the hair, purely because we was doing this for video purposes. I then used mist air mixed with black and white to get a grey that I was happy with the shade in my airbrush gun, and slowly started to bring out the contours of Susie's bone structure. Susie has amazing bone structure, so it's a matter of kind of using the shadow and light in the room to find her natural bone structure and just work with it. I'm using some cream product on the inner corners of her eyes, and then I set this with powder. That's to try and take away some of the pink. Ideally it needed to be done at the top waterline too. I then start to go in with Fuller's Earth. One mix is mixed with a bit of black and white acrylic, and another batch I mixed up with some green acrylic. That's to try and get two different coloured textures. This is to try and give a kind of decayed, textured effect to what is meant to be a statue look. This, when it starts to dry, starts to change colours, and it also starts to crumble and thicken up, and it can add amazing texture to many makeup effects. This product is actually used in beauty and for facials, So it is skin safe, but it's very drying. Luckily this design had the really thick cream base, as if this was worn for a long time it would just start to draw out the base rather than anything from Susie's actual skin. Use a hairdryer to speed up the drying process. And I started to splatter on just some moss green kind of alcohol paint, just to add a little bit more of texture and just to break up any flat areas.